And we are live.
And in color.
Nobody knows. Pickers, I need to speak with you. I need to speak with you. I might want to buy some incense from you.
Hey, Mama.
Kitty. Kenneth. I'm not speaking to her because she called me an a-hole like 6 times. So
She was trying to make nice by saying good morning to you, and you never said hi.
that's because you were. Oh.
I did. You didn't.
You.
What?
Everyone grab your popcorn. This
You
is
have
a
a
great
phone.
moment in history.
I don't use it.
Yes, you do. You
I
liar.
don't like it.
You're a liar.
You're a liar.
Niana, hey Niana, how's everything going over there? Stuff kind of slowed down a little bit.
Niana. Tanya.
Yeah.
Sure you
Hey,
do.
Julie.
Sure you do. Sure.
Love you, Mama.
Sure. Shot to the
I love your new
heart.
haircut, by the way.
Smoking reptile.
Taco.
Green
Hey,
Gables.
Green Gables.
Tanya Turner.
Fighting a heck of a headache. Gosh.
Why?
I don't know why.
Because no one likes it.
Thank you. Tacos at Julie's. Now you're really not going to get talked to.
First, they give a stranger homemade spaghetti sauce.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get homemade spaghetti sauce.
Nope. Hey, look! Lonely Purple must have gotten the notification finally.
Now she's going over there to have tacos.
Wow. 7 raccoons with the coon cuffs. That is so awesome.
Oh,
hey, Bandana Grandma.
So...
Mud Pie Girl. Awesome. Rena's in here. Oh, shredded beef enchilada. But you got homemade cinnamon rolls.
Go to your happy place.
We just need to figure out a way to get back up there.
Count back from
You
10.
need to move up there. They say they get
Windswept.
D!
Hey, D, what's up?
D in the house. D.
Oh, my head.
Bandana Grandma.
Mark. Irma
have to
Hicks,
sing
that's the one we
everything.
haven't seen in a little while.
Do you have to sing everything?
Yes, it's my thing. Sit over there, news lady.
So,
With a needle and thread.
while we're waiting on people to get in,
While we're waiting,
all of these cool people that show up on time will
cool
tell.
people that show up on time.
So, Ladessa and I made a new soap
No, you didn't.
for
You didn't.
the...
Ladessa made a new soap.
No.
That's what Ladessa told me.
For the Big Bear Friends membership group.
Right, and Ladessa said that
And...
she did all the work and all you did was sleep on the couch.
Oh, no.
That's what Ladessa told me.
So anyway, what we did is we put, yeah, it is long. It's like, I mean, super, super long. And it gets curly as it dries. It's pretty cool. Anyway, so, we made some soap this week.
Dustin Dean is in the house.
Probably Shakira.
No, Shakira comes in as Shakira.
No, she doesn't.
Yes, she does.
No, she doesn't. But
Oh. So, is it
Shakira.
Dustin or Shakira? Shakira.
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 Yeah.
Shakira.
It's an I. Shakira.
Terry, you're late. 50 push-ups on your knuckles.
So, anyway, we made this soap this
No, you
week.
didn't.
And we put...
See? Told you.
It's Shakira.
Told you it was Shakira.
Uh-huh. Shakira, that's it. It's an A.
What you doing
Shakira.
for? You
So,
afraid I'm gonna book you?
so anyway, we made this soap this week.
No, you didn't.
And we're going to send it out to the people that have signed up for membership. And it is really cool because it has coffee grounds in it. So we put coffee grounds in as an abrasive, but when I
So
put
that's
it
what
in
took
there,
all the ashy skin off my elbow?
so when I put it in there, I originally, when I looked at it, I was like, this isn't going to do anything. It's coffee grounds.
Hello, Mr. Mud Pie.
So I'm like, Mr. Oh, gotcha. So I'm like, coffee grounds aren't going to do anything because when we stirred it all in, it looked like it was soft and.
This is one bad microphone because they're picking you up all the way over here. I just now noticed that. I'm sorry. What's it feel like to be interrupted?
It's not interrupted. It's completely off subject. It's rude. Completely rude. It's not just getting excited about telling a story and jumping in on somebody's story. It's completely going off topic and derailing my train. Not cool.
Now would be the time for viewers to grab their popcorn because now is an amazing fight.
Anyway, so can I try and tell this story without any interruption?
Pop the popcorn, ladies and gentlemen.
So we made soap this week. We added coffee grounds to it because coffee grounds are supposed to make things abrasive.
No, I have a question.
Okay.
Is it caffeinated or decaffeinated?
It was caffeinated. So we put the coffee grounds in there, and we put some really cool oil blend in there and mixed it up, and we weren't sure how it was going to turn out. So the next day, it's curing great. Like, Ladessa is my new soap guru because whatever she does, the soap always cures overnight.
Me and you are tight.
So I told her from now on, whenever I make a soap, she's with me because whatever we do when she's there with me, I don't know if she keeps me focused or what it is, but the soap always cures, like within 24 hours, like hard, so that I can pop it out of the molds and let it cut and sit.
So that the soap looks like cookies and
so
cream.
yeah, so that was what it is. It looks like.
So did you use cream?
No, so
and sugar?
well, that's one thing Ladessa wants to do now is she wants to get a fragrance that is chocolate and vanilla, so that we can make it actually smell like cookies and cream, because the soap bars actually look like cookies and cream ice cream. It's pretty cool.
Excuse me. That is a great idea. But do we not remember the bacon scented soap?
I know. So that was my only concern. Was I said, well, Ladessa, right now you don't eat it because it's at the end of the day it smells like soap. But if I make it smell like cookies and cream, are you gonna promise me you won't eat it? She didn't like that question very much.
She's gonna start farting soap bubbles.
But the cool thing is when we did the soap, we did the coffee grounds, when I was mixing it in, it really didn't look like it was going to be abrasive at all. Like, I was like, this is going to be a huge wash. Like, there's no way this is going to work. So we let everything cure. We let it sit for a little while.
Were they used coffee grounds?
Yes.
Way to go. Way to reuse, repurpose,
Yes, that's the other really
recycle.
cool. The other really cool thing is that we can use it. You're supposed to use it after they've been used. So that's another really cool use for our grounds. Besides just putting them in the garden, we can also use them in soap. But all of this to get to, I really didn't think that the coffee grounds were going to be abrasive. I will tell you. They are abrasive. They, because I have little bars of soap that I'm using for like samples, because I have these smaller molds that make smaller bars. And so I'm cutting those up to give to people to try out. Well, we always try one here at the house first to make sure that nobody has a crazy reaction to it or anything like that. And so I was bathing with it, and I'm like, ooh, it really is abrasive. Like, it has a really nice texture. It doesn't hurt, but you can definitely feel it scrubbing your skin. Like, you don't need the soap sag. You don't need anything like that. It is enough to be able to get a nice, and my skin is like super soft. It's nice and creamy. So I'm like super excited about this, that we're starting to save all of our recipes, write them all down, give them names, so we can start putting labels on everything with ingredients, things like that, so that we know exactly what's in them. So we're
all you have to do, Dustin Dean, is join the Big Bear Friends group.
At the $15 level.
At the $15 level.
And you'll get a soap a month. Every month we're going to send out a new soap. So, so anyway, that was the cool thing, is that, you know, we thought that it was going to be, now Ladessa and I have another soap in the works that we're going to do probably tomorrow.
Okay, well.
And I'm not going to tell anybody about that one, but it's a cool idea. So we're excited to see how that one's going to turn out.
So we also want to say congratulations to Tommy Alderman's son.
Yes, his son got engaged. On Friday.
Way to go.
Yes, very cool. Beautiful, beautiful young lady.
Another free man taken into custody. Handcuffed.
That's it. Yep.
Sentenced to life.
Ball and chain. No. Hey, Mel.
Another free one.
Mm-hmm. Gone. So anyway.
So that's what you're saying about marriage, that when you marry mom, your whole life went down the...
Yep, down in the dumps.
Do you like being my favorite child?
Thought Ladessa was your favorite child.
No, you know you're my favorite.
I know.
So stop talking, or Ladessa will become my favorite child.
Lone Star Living. What's up, guys?
So what was the other announcement that we wanted to make? That was a congratulations. There was Tommy.
A big thank you to everybody that made the auction possible this past week.
Right. There was another one before that, though. You were supposed to write it down. You can never fuss about me about not writing anything down ever again.
Not windswept stuff, wasn't it?
No. Yes, congratulations to Windswept Homestead. They bought another homestead. So.
Okay, so Dustin Dean's asking if we saw their last bee video. I did. If you're talking about the one where y'all went in and got we're gonna do the bees. We've done that. Jason and I, a lot of people don't know this, but we used to do that for a living, gosh, almost 10 years ago. We've been doing it on and off for about 10 years.
Yes, I just went this week to another call, but it ended up being Yellow Jackets.
Yeah.
It's addicting. It's a great thing to do.
And it's awesome if you can salvage the bees. This late in the season, though, it's kind of tough. You really have to feed them hard and wax foundation. Lots of wax foundation.
I don't know. They don't need wax foundation. They're going to be pulling the combs too.
That's true. They should be pulling the comb. I was thinking of swarm. My brain was.
Yes.
Anyway, but yeah, if you get them done right,
you should be okay. When you're pulling the honeybees out, I liked the white waxed twine.
Yeah.
And that's what I would hold them in my hives with. And I would do a crisscross pattern. Mm-hmm. Okay? And I would just wrap them just basically one time. I would tie the twine down in the far bottom left corner. Mm-hmm. I would put what we cut out, lay it up there, hold it up there, run one, wrap it around, come up, and then tie it back down there and call it done. Because within 24 hours, they usually go and make everything solid, and you're golden. Now, next year, when you go to flip your hive bodies, pull just like one frame, maybe two of those frames out a year, and replace them. And then you'll be golden. But you should... What you guys are getting ready to do or doing... It's the easy, in my opinion, if you've got the bee vac, if you got the right tools, it's the easiest way and the cheapest way to get bees, because you should also be able to get paid for doing the extraction.
Unless this one looks like, this says to save bumblebees. I did not see this one come up. No. So I don't know about this one. I was looking at the one where they had the hive that they were showing. I'll have to watch it. But In any case, when you're pulling bees,
Well, bumblebees is you do it basically the same way.
Yeah.
So, okay, do you guys know what time it is?
All right, go ahead.
No, not 7:15. It's not 8.
8:15. They're telling you what time it is.
With friends like these. It's the Homestead News time. That was Morse code. You're live.
You think? Hi, and welcome to the Big Bear Homestead Saturday Night Live. I'm your news anchor, Carol Ann, and this is your news.
Speak up, they can hardly hear you.
Okay, today we're going to be talking about the swine flu. The swine flu, aka the swine influenza, is a human respiratory infection caused by an influenza strain that started in pigs. It is a rare virus, fewer than 200,000 U.S. cases per year. It's preventable by vaccine. It spreads easily. It requires a medical diagnosis. A lab test or imaging is often required.
Hold on. Okay, wait a minute. Yeah.
I can hear her.
All right, yeah. You speak up really loud. Some people are...
Okay.
Just hear her loud.
Yeah.
Just loud.
It's a short-term virus passing 3 days to a week. The swine flu was first recognized in the 1919 pandemic and is still circulates as a seasonal flu virus. It's more likely to infect young children and seniors, and is similar to the regular flu. Now, this flu strain may worsen medical conditions such as asthma and COPD. The symptoms are dry cough, nausea, chills, fatigue, fever, headache, shortness of breath, and diarrhea. The swine flu is a lot like most flu virus. It spreads through the air. There has been no breakouts that I can find this year, but be on the lookout because it can cause a pandemic. It spreads very easily.
Okay.
And don't forget Sunday's meteor shower.
What type of meteor shower is it?
I can't remember. It's a big word.
The Perseids.
The Perseus?
Perseids.
The Perseids meteor shower. It will be happening on Sunday.
It'll peak on Sunday.
It'll peak on Sunday.
Yeah.
So guess what I'll be
Will
doing?
the swine flu cross from animal to human?
No, it will not cross from animal to human. It was just developed. It was just found in pigs. Huh?
Nope.
Nope.
It can. It's very rare, but it can. But when it goes from being that one, they call it a variant flu. It doesn't stay named the swine flu. Okay. Very good. We liked that story. Apparently everybody liked that story. Oh God, can you please turn that off? For real.
The pigs in the corner.
No. This one is, I think that was,
What?
Can you please turn that off?
Say good night, Carol.
Good night, and don't mind the pigs jumping in the corner.
Stop the ones No, the one that he was playing right then and there, nobody saw the one you're talking about. It was on there, but nobody noticed it. But the
pig, I had the one with Clinton pooping.
When she was pooping and peeing, and then Henry walked by and just swinging. Okay, so one really cool thing I want to talk about, because I wanted to fact check behind her just to make sure she was giving accurate information. So everybody put on your tinfoil hats.
Can you put the air conditioner back on before you...
The last mention of the swine flu that anybody really heard about was H1N1 with 2009. There was a huge outbreak that year. And the thing about...
Don't believe in me.
The thing about that one is, I don't know how many of y'all remember, but there were a lot of people that were speculating that that was a man-made occurrence, that it was not. Do you remember that? Because we have a couple of...
She's going all Alex Jones
No,
on
I'm
us.
not. No, I'm not, because I have something to back it up. So there was a lot of people that were talking about it, and I remember seeing it going, y'all are just crazy. Like, you're nuts. Because all they did was they talked about how this was a man-made virus, or a flu, I'm sorry.
And then?
And that it was, that it was concocted so that they could, have the flu shot and push it and all this other stuff. Well, again, I thought it was kind of crazy. But one of the things I was reading in a reputable place, not just some blog or something like that, is that when they took the DNA strain and broke down this virus or this flu, it contained 2 genes from pigs found in Europe and Asia. It had 3 genes from pigs found in America. It had genes from birds and genes from humans.
Okay, hold on. I have to call BS.
Not for real.
No, I'm calling BS.
Why?
I've been on this planet 43 years.
Uh-huh.
I've never seen a bird or a pig wear any jeans.
You're so stupid. Their genetic makeup. The genetic makeup of the...
Oh, you know how you tell the sex of a chromosome?
I really don't want it.
You pull down his jeans.
Oh my God. So anyway, I was telling, because my son is one of those people that's like, yeah, whatever, it's just a bunch of crap. But I told him about that, and he goes, really? And it actually made him even stop and think, the idea that all of that could be mixed in together and put to become a flu is crazy, because one, a flu is easier passed from a human to a pig than it is from a pig to a human. It does happen, but it's very rare. So for it to be crossed over from pigs in Asia and Europe and America, and then somehow we mix in a bird and a human all together for this flu virus or this flu strain.
So they
just seems a little...
They hooked it up with Kung Pao chicken and sweet and sour pork.
There you go. So anyway, just some food for thought. The swine flu has not really been a huge huge issue, but definitely need to keep an eye on it. One of the things that I was reading that we need to keep in mind if you're keeping pigs is that if you get sick, you can pass what you have on to your herd. Yes.
You know, I learned something new about cows this week too.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
No, we're not. No, stop.
I learned why cows have hooves instead of feet. Because they lack toes. It made you laugh.
It did. Well, mad cow disease is something totally different. That's encephalitis. So
no, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
That's when a cow realizes the price of milk.
No, the thing with encephalitis is that was actually caused by feeding cows.
They like my joke.
More cow. They were all of the leftovers from when they processed cows. They're taking that and mixing it back into the feed for cows.
So they were feeding a cow a Big Mac.
Basically. Except
it was putting a Whopper in the hopper.
One of the other problems, though, is that they were... what happened is there was brain matter.
That's why I don't go to Burger King.
So you're not allowed to feed a cow any part of the brain, the spinal cord, anything like that, because that's where it's where the bacteria and everything is posted, I guess. So mad cow disease is basically, I believe it's encephalitis, and they're not allowed. And it's sad to me that they have to stipulate this. You can't feed a cow another cow's brain or spine. Like, really?
Just put a bunch of molasses on it,
and
they'll
that's what they do. I put some molasses on it, they'll eat it. I mean, so that's the problem. Yeah. So that's
what happens in CAFOs,
that's
folks.
how it came about. Is that they were feeding them the stuff that, it's just bad. So anyway, they're not allowed to do that anymore. That's why we haven't had any major anything like that, because that doesn't, it's regulated enough. Yeah. But it's okay to feed chicken.
I feed my pigs bacon.
I mean, and not really, because we'll eat that stuff before we give it to the pig.
So
it's not what caused it, but it helped it spread. Okay. Right. That's what I mean, is that the bacteria that was in there is what caused it to present itself in other cows.
I think I'm gonna split my beard right down the middle, and I'm gonna grow like 2 long chops.
Yeah. Yum. I don't know if I like that idea.
Oh, that's a good thing it ain't your face.
And then you can braid them, Jason.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It'd be like old Captain Lou Albano, y'all.
I really need to come up with some kind of a conditioner or something for you.
So that's why you don't kiss me no more?
No. I kiss you. I kiss you plenty. Dye it purple and yellow.
Not enough money. Not enough money in the world.
We only got 2 months until the
Homesteaders of America
Conference. So you know how I got there, because the purple and yellow is LSU. LSU football game for Georgia is the same weekend as the conference. There's where I was at. You don't want to beard dazzle your beard. No.
That's going to be so funny at the Homesteaders of America Conference this year. Because I'm going to bring a Georgia shirt. Mm-hmm. And I'm
sure he's going to bring an LSU shirt.
So when Georgia smacks LSU's hiney, I'm gonna have it all nice and wrapped up, and I'm gonna take it over to Tommy.
Here you go, son.
There you go, homie. Put it on.
So what are you gonna do if LSU wins?
I'll put on the shirt that he gives me.
Okay. Yeah. See. Because D is from Louisiana too, so yeah. Can't wait till October. Yeah, I'm getting excited too.
Yeah.
Hold him to it, y'all. We'll probably end up going live that night after the conference, because the conference will be over by then. Yeah. So we'll end up probably going live that evening.
And there's going to be a lot of people with us. Josh will be with us. Matter of fact, where is Josh?
I don't know. Must have something going on.
He better not have.
Oh, and she went to LSU.
Well, so did half of your family.
Yeah, all three of my cousins went to LSU. I still have an aunt, uncle, and two of my cousins live there. The other one moved up to New York. Alright.
I'm going to find out where the Joshinator is.
So what else do we have going on here? We got some banana peppers we've got to can. Hopefully tomorrow. Today we went up to the jockey lot.
So we went to the biggest flea market around. It's over in Anderson County. It's called the Jockey Lot.
It's huge. You can look it up online. There's an aerial view of it. You can see how big it is. It's massive.
And needless to say, I feel a whole lot better about myself. So, a lot of interesting things.
People of Walmart on steroids, something like that. More like on meth. Should have said that.
You said that out loud.
Anyway, but we got boiled peanuts and hand squeezed lemonade.
And a turkey leg.
And a turkey leg. That's very good.
Turkey leg. I don't feel like my turkey leg was done.
So this is a good question. How did you do with the crowd, Jason? You were missing your dog. So apparently there's these big signs all over the place that say, basically, if you have a Rottweiler, don't bring it here. Don't let it walk around.
I was going to stop in there to the office and say, hey, he's my service dog. Can I bring him? And see what they said. And then,
there were so many.
I did not do well at all. My back locked up. Mm-hmm. And
I think the only thing that kept you sane was that the girls were loving on you and kind of keeping you grounded for the time we were there. Yeah, it's called the Jockey Lot, bandana.
I was packing.
Yes, you were. And one of the guys stopped you and asked you or something. What did he ask you about you were carrying? He said something and you were stopped looking at something. I don't remember. Anyway.
But they had a couple of nice set of ammo cans there. They had an old flashlight.
But I only saw one place that had bars of soap, and she literally had like 4 bars in her entire spread.
I'm not getting a table there.
But I wouldn't go back there to sell. But it's obviously not something that gets sold a lot out that way. It's a different group of people.
Different group of folks.
Mm-hmm. Lots of produce. But you could tell a lot of it was shipped
we are going tomorrow. Now that was one of the things that they had
There was a guy in the corner.
Little mini nursery there. He had a very nice assortment of figs.
Oh my good. Figs and different scuppernongs, muscadines, Concord grapes, peach trees. I mean.
Oh, he had some peach trees?
Yeah, he had peach trees. He had
I just was in awe about the different varieties.
Yeah, there was at least 3 or 4 different types of figs.
Yeah, we're going to go back tomorrow and get some figs.
And reasonable. They were like $10. And we're not talking about a little bitty thing. It was like, they were about that tall.
Yeah.
Maybe taller. Maybe a little bit taller. And
yeah. They should be producing.
Well, they had some on them.
Yeah.
Some of them had some on them.
Yeah.
So
we're going to go.
And they were $10. That's very reasonable. So,
So if he's got some peach trees, we're probably going to snag some of those too.
yeah. Yeah, because the girls got hooked on our tree producing this year.
Yeah, well, it was the first year it produced. Now we got to prune it back this winter, and but yeah, they took one bite of a fresh peach and it was on like Donkey Kong.
And then like the muscadines this year, because of all the rain that we've had, the muscadines are almost as big as a $50. They're bigger than a quarter.
Yeah, they're huge.
They're massive.
Yeah, I saw them when I was over there mowing.
And Carol came in this morning. She grabbed the first one off the vine, like 2 of them off the vine this morning, and basically said they'll be ready in a week or 2. They're going to start turning in about a week or 2. And she said that the flavor was... See, because that was one thing we were worried about, is that they would be watered down because of how much water we've had. But she said they were actually very tasty. So I'm excited about that. We're going to make some wine.
The first harvest, we're going to make a batch of wine. Second one, we're going to make jam. Then the third harvest, we're going to make jelly, and then we're going to start all over again.
I think what we may do, we were talking about this morning, I think instead of doing jelly, I think what we'll probably do is go ahead and make grape juice. Because you make jelly from just plain juice.
I don't want juice.
And then what I thought we would do is go ahead and freeze the juice. Because, now hear me out.
You're
Because
taking up my freezer space.
No. Because, and not because of doing jam versus jelly, but because you and I are not the only people in the house. The girls like grape juice. And it's a very healthy alternative for them instead of just tea and water and occasionally milk and juice. You know what I'm saying?
It didn't mix good with vodka
Sprite.
and
a little bit of Sprite. Like if you take some and then just a little bit of Sprite or 7-Up or Sierra Mist or anything like that, it's very good.
The Blaze can make his beer again.
Yeah. So, that was just a thought. Was we may, instead of making just jelly...
we could try to make grape soda.
Yeah, he made grape... God, what a story. He had that grape juice, and he was like, well, I'm going to make some grape soda. And what I didn't tell anybody is that part of the recipe, he needed to use yeast to get it to bubble, to effervesce. Well, in the process of doing that, there was some alcohol created in the grape soda. And he didn't really realize it because he didn't drink hardly any of it. Well, instead, I guess he drank some of it. He wasn't crazy about the way it tasted, which makes sense because Blaze is not an alcohol kind of person. And so we, so what we did is he ended up giving it, that was what I was going to say to you in a minute. But so he ended up giving it to the girls. It was like, here, he didn't make a lot. He was just trying it out. And so he gave the girls that stuff. And I come home for lunch. And both girls are all giddy and laughing and they're being all. And I was like, what is going on with them? He's like, I don't know. They've been crazy ever since like about 10:30. And I'm like, well, what did you do different at 10:30? And then all of a sudden you just saw this look come on his face and he's like, I'm like, what did you do? He goes, well, I was trying to make that grape soda and I didn't like it, so I let the girls have it. He said it must have had an alcohol content to it because they were just giddy, jumping around, laughing, having a good old time. And man, did they sleep after lunch that day. They were
gone.
So yeah, that's what I was going to tell you. You can can the juice.
I'm just wondering, instead of trying to do it that way to make the soda, if we go to our brewery place.
Peaceful Inspirations, yay! That's Patty. That's the one that donated the book and the bracelet that we weren't able to auction off. Yeah.
And get a CO2 where it can inject the CO2 into the grape juice to make the soda.
I mean, I was just wondering if one of those soda machine thingies that you make your own soda. We might ask Steve, Tasha and Steve, because they make their own stuff. So anyway, that was the fun grape soda story. It was definitely a fail, not a success.
So this week we're ending the week of the pig. This week. Did you guys like how we did that? For those of you that follow us on all of our social media, how many of you guys saw the bacon facts this week? The facts about bacon. Did you guys enjoy that? Because if so, we're going to keep it up. If not, we're going to try something else.
Yeah. Like my cooking was based on...
Yeah. How many of you guys actually saw the cooking video?
I enjoyed it and ended up hungry.
I'm curious about that. How many of you guys know that we put a cooking video out this week? Because the views were
really low.
Super low.
For my cooking videos, it was super low. Like, I don't even think we've...
It hasn't broke 100 yet, and it's been out 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird, but... I mean, there's only 37 people in here, so...
Well, it's about how many views it's got.
No,
so.
It's got 90-something, but... See? I watched it 4 times. Man, and I'll tell you, with them cooking out on the grill with that smoky flavor...
those were, and I'll quote Samuel L. Jackson here, now that's a tasty burger.
It really is. And there's a lot of things that I kind of left out of the instructions that we did a little bit different that I'm going to include in the Big Bear Friends thing, because that's part of the membership, is that we're going to start including some of the different recipes of different stuff that we do. So that's one of the things that I'm going to talk about, is like what we put in the burger, because we put some stuff in the burger mix that was really good. And then we tweaked a little bit of stuff, along the way with the beans. So it was very, 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 very tasty. So
super tasty. It was very, very tasty.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, do we kind of want to let the cat out of...
Did one on bacon from different types of pigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was very well organized this week with doing it like that. Now, we did realize that we are not going to be able to put a video out every day. We're going to try to get 2 videos out a week, maybe 3, depending upon the weather and what goes on.
Because in addition to our live stream. So.
Right. Because, I mean, the weather right now is just super crazy. We get a very small window to get things done.
And to be able to film stuff too. Like, if we're doing something outdoors, we've had
usually
so much
in
rain.
the morning we get in a little light drizzle, and then it'll break. Yeah. And then we rush outside and we try to tidy up some things, get some grass.
I was going to say, y'all were trying to get some grass cut so that we can feed it back to the back, because all of the seed heads that are out now. And it's just 1 minute it's dry as a bone, and then the next minute we're like swimming back by the pond. Yeah. So we so that's been a challenge of trying to make all of that work together.
I'm hoping that because it didn't rain this evening, that it's not gonna come up on us tonight. That way I can put the bags on the mower, because I don't know how many of you guys have been watching my buddy Daniel over at December Grazing. He was talking about that one grass with the seed head, and well, I've got that grass. I didn't know we had it, and I've got it up at the front part. And so now that it's into the seed head, I want to go cut it, bag it, take it to the back pasture, and try to overseed it going in there, because the ragweed has basically taken over our pasture this year, because it's been so stinking wet.
We're having to watch, I don't know how many of y'all have livestock, but we're having to watch worms and things like that because it's so wet that it's the perfect environment for that kind of stuff to just become an issue. So definitely keep that in mind if you're dealing with that.
Yeah.
So,
even with rotating pastures, it's still...
Well, the water gets on there, and then you have, it's just a perfect environment for bacteria to grow, fungus to grow. I mean, you got all different types of things that can be happening back there in that pasture.
And if you're getting a lot of rain, and it's getting to the point where your grasses are getting high that your livestock can't keep up by keeping them mowed, and you can't keep up by keeping them mowed, you've got to really push yourself to get out there and cut. High grass equals predators.
And also, and I don't know how much of this you've really touched on, but I've heard it in passing a lot from Salatin, that the higher the grass gets, the less nutritional content it has as well. So the more, the higher your grass gets, the less, it's not as good for the cows. It doesn't do as much good for them. So you're really not doing yourself any good by leaving it up that high anyway, because at that point it's just, they're wasting the energy of eating it. They're not getting really much out of the grass itself. So,
but high grass, we were cutting a section, and I bounced a bunch of Norway rats. I mean, like that, they were the biggest house cats. And because they've got lots of cover to be able
just
to get
around. Yep.
wherever they wanted to go. Tall grass, the rat, and look, remember, I tell you guys all the time, everything follows its food source.
Right.
So if the rats are coming,
guess what's coming to get the rats?
the snakes are coming, the raptors are coming,
Yep.
the foxes are coming, the coyotes are coming, the possums are coming.
Yep.
Okay? Not too much a raccoon. He's not really going to go after a rat, especially in this weather with all of this stuff. He's got a tremendous amount of other things that are really more high on his restaurant list.
Right, exactly.
But for a snake, for a coyote, for a fox, a big fat rat, yeah,
that's good stuff.
that's good stuff. Now, also, okay, keep in mind with this. Heavy rains helps certain trees produce better. They help certain fruit bushes, grasses, all these other things produce better. So then that means in the animal kingdom, the animals that are eating these will flourish. What happens, think about it, when times are good, even with people, you have an increase of
Population.
babies being born. No different in the animal kingdom. I'm a big fat rat. I'm fat. I'm a guy rat. I've got a big fat full belly. Okay, what's the next thing on my mind? Brown chicken, brown cow.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so then you have a population boom. Well, guess what? Woo, the owls and the hawks and the eagles
Because
and
then
the
they
falcons.
know where their food is.
And the falcons go, hey, there's a whole lot of rats down
What do
there.
they call it? Like shooting in a barrel? Shooting fish in a barrel?
So they're swooping in.
But then what happens? They take out all the rats.
They take out all the rats, and now they've hatched out a whole bunch of babies. So now what are they going to go looking for? Well, they're up in the air circling, and they are going to go after your rabbits, your chicks, your chickens, your
anything
ducks.
else that they perceive to be a food source.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's just all there is to it. Once the food source has depleted, then they're going to go after what else is around until you have nothing left.
Yep.
You know, we've been there. That happened to us 2 years ago.
And look, we're in Georgia, okay? Suburban Hillbilly is up around Atlanta.
Yeah, she's in the
She
metropolitan area.
had an eagle
Mm-hmm.
going after a squirrel in her. She lives in a neighborhood
Mm-hmm.
that got caught up in some electrical lines.
Mm-hmm.
Going at an eagle, a big brown, I think it was a brown eagle or a golden eagle.
Brown eagle, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
So again, as the human population grows, we move out, we take away their natural habitat.
Where their food is. Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be more interaction.
Mm-hmm.
So
Because the squirrels are running into town too, so then the eagle's going to follow after the squirrel.
everything follows its food source. So
Mhm.
whether you're an urban homesteader or whether you live out in the country like us, you will have an interaction with predators
At some point.
at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I can almost guarantee at least once a year. It's getting to that point that bad. And here's the thing. Excuse me. If you've been following me for a while, you know I do not believe in relocation. I do not believe in taking a predator or any animal and moving it to another location just because it went
Squisine, I bet.
it got in your house or it got into your feed and you catch the squirrel. I believe if you catch it, you need to kill it. Why? Because if you don't, none of us are wildlife biologists in here, at least to my knowledge. If I got a wildlife biologist following me, speak up. But obviously I don't, because he would be agreeing with me. We don't know the population
of the
area that you're relocating that animal to.
Right.
And then what happens? All of a sudden, you start to have a distemper outbreak.
Right.
Raccoons in Central Park in New York City with distemper.
Mm-hmm.
Raccoons in Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, all with distemper. Bobcats, foxes, coyotes.
Well, look at what he just wrote.
What is
We
this?
have a nature wildlife preserve real close to us, and all over the Nextdoor app, there's a post about missing pets. I've personally seen bobcats and coyotes running around here, and he lives in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
And doesn't he live in an apartment complex or something? So yeah, I mean,
Something like
it's you know. Oh, we got those humane traps once. I'll never do that again. It was terrible. Yeah, neighborhoods. Yeah.
Look, even right down the road from me, not 5 minutes, the grandma that made national news because she choked out a bobcat.
Yep.
Okay?
That was sick.
And it had tested positive for rabies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? What y'all don't know is that this poor lady had to take out a second mortgage on her house because that's how expensive the rabies shots are.
Mm-hmm.
And most of your insurance companies are not going to cover it.
Mm-mm.
So you guys have to be vigilant, keeping watch.
And Suburban makes a good point. She said that she learned that most of them end up starving. That's the problem,
Mm-hmm.
is that they end up starving, which then lowers their immune system, which means they're easier to get sick. So, and if they're starving, what are they doing? They're going looking for food. So they're going to be more aggressive. They're going to take more risks. So this is the issue that you're dealing with, is that, you know, if you relocate, you're setting up whatever area you relocate it to for failure.
Yeah.
And so that's, to us, is completely unethical to do that either. So.
And please, by all means, it's starting to become more and more, for some reason, popular that even some of the so-called professionals are doing it, and when they get caught, they're getting fined and losing their license. At least in my state, there's been another case of another wildlife expert.
Hey, Mama T.
This time he worked for a pest control company that is green and white.
Oh, really?
Got busted going into people's houses and to get rid of the squirrels, spreading fox and coyote urine all over their attic.
Oh my.
This stuff does not work. Leave the urine and the feces of other animals alone. I don't care what you read on the internet or anything. Leave the feces of big cats, leave the feces of dogs, leave the feces of wolves, coyotes, leave their urine. Don't stop it. One, it doesn't work. Two, you could be spreading diseases.
Because a lot of diseases passed through that kind of stuff. So yeah, you gotta be careful with that.
Now look, I use fox urine and I use coyote urine.
But you use it as an LDC.
But I'm using it as an attractant to catch a fox or a coyote. I'm using it because I'm taking their natural instincts and I'm turning it to my favor. I'm going after the alpha male of the coyote pack. So of course I'm going to bring in a different smelling coyote urine that he doesn't recognize.
He's going to be all over
he's going to put his guard down because he's going to get pissed. Who is this fool coming into my house peeing on my bush? And he's not going to be paying attention. He's going to walk over there to remark it. Whammo, I got him. I'm not putting this stuff in people's attics.
Same thing with beaver. When you do a beaver, you use their castor. It's the same thing. But it's all about understanding the biology of that animal and using it to your advantage.
Yes.
Just kidding. So, yeah. And that's the kind of stuff that, the way I understand it, because I've looked a little bit at your notes, is what you're going to be talking about in your class. The hands-on workshop is that there's a lot to it. It's not just
myths out there. Mothballs. Unless you're going after moths, leave them in the store. Mothballs do not work. Mothballs and sulfur does not work for snakes.
Work for snakes.
I've been around a lot of, and look, African Americans are the worst ones with the sulfur. Old African Americans, they believe, as much as they believe in Jesus, they believe that sulfur works for snakes. And you have to show them. You see that mark in your line of sulfur right there? Yeah. That's a snake. That's a snake that just crawled through your sulfur. So that kind of stuff doesn't work.
Mel said, we have a population boom of wild chickens all over here. The city won't let us hunt them. We have to humanely catch them with a trap. How the heck are you going to trap a chicken?
A chicken is a bird. At the end of the day, it is a bird. You would have to set it up just like you would if you were trying to catch pigeons or any type of quail or anything like that. You couldn't purchase like the bird trap that I have for pigeons because the chickens are just too big.
Too big. They won't go into it.
But believe it or not, catching the chickens would be relatively easy. Now, what works for mice? The best thing to do with mice is trap them.
Yeah.
Use that. I put the old look, before these things came out, I was a big time buyer of the old Victor route mice and rat traps, the wooden ones with a big gold bar.
Hey, Food Forest Permaculture.
That would break your knuckles. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, look, I got tired of busting my knuckles up in attics, balancing on a 2x4 up there, and trying to place these things out.
I just saw that shop vacs.
The T-Rex rat traps and mouse traps that we sell, and I'm not just saying this because we sell them.
No.
I was even pushing these when we didn't sell them. Work great. They are safe. easy to bait, easy to use. Then, once you have them trapped out, exclusion, exclusion, exclusion. Now, what's exclusion? That means you make it to where they can't get back in again. Now, mice, rats, squirrels, beavers, those guys are rodents. So they have to, they have to chew anyway. That's part of their mandatory sentence
It's
that
part
God
of their biology.
that
They've
God
got to because
put on them because their teeth, the front teeth, front top two and the front bottom two, they're always growing.
Constantly growing.
I mean, rodent means to gnaw.
So real quick, Windswept Homestead will tell you all about these. Karen bought the rat traps, and the mouse trap works exactly the same way. It's just a smaller, and like she's saying, it's a one-step easy. Don't have to touch the critter, the whole nine.
Yeah. And then when you find their hole, where they're entering your house, and this is my favorite thing to do, get steel wool,
Mm-hmm.
rip it apart,
Mm-hmm.
jam it in
Shove
the
it in the
middle
hole.
of the hole. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Usually with a hole, usually you got two sides to it.
Mm-hmm.
One where they're coming into the house through the outside, and one where they are getting into your living space.
Right.
Jam that steel wool down in that hole. Great stuff. Okay? Because great stuff will then intertwine.
Expand in it and intertwine in it. Yeah.
And then, of course, great stuff expands over the time.
Right.
They're going to chew at it. The ones that you don't catch, they're going to chew at it. Now, if you're talking about the little tiny gray to house mouse,
Mm-hmm.
this is really going to blow your mind. You brought that mouse into your house. Whether you bought a new couch or you bought a new vacuum cleaner or it came in with your groceries, the little gray house mouse, they live in an area of 10 by 30 feet. They don't leave that area unless they are forced. So what happens is if you, and the number one component of people getting mice in their house, the number one way that mice
Come in.
is through blown insulation.
Yeah.
Now, here's the problem. You're going to say to me, well, Jason, when I bought the house, it had blown insulation. Mm-hmm.
You had mice too.
You had mice too.
Yeah.
Remember, 10 by 30 feet. So what they do with this blown insulation is it's in a big warehouse, slap full of mice. And so they back that van up, throw their hose in, punch in the cubic feet of your attic. It sucks up the proper amount of insulation, puts it in the holding tank. Sir Mouse just went for a little roller coaster roll. He's in the holding tank now. Mr. $11 an hour dude comes out to your house, stands up in your attic,
Sprays it.
has the hose, going back and forth. Him and his buddy, they're making inappropriate references with the hose as they're spraying it back and forth, doing all these kinds of things. Well, male mouse, thunk,
Female mouse.
thunk. 10 by 30 feet, they overlap. They finally meet each other. And then male mouse is like, hey, how you doing? Female mouse is like, hee. He invites her over for dinner. Little mouse candlelight. Some little mouse Barry White playing in the background.
Let's get it on.
Next thing you know, in a week later, there's 20 to 30 baby mice. 24 hours later, she's shaking her tail feather at him again because she can get pregnant 24 hours after she spits out 20 to 24 babies.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next thing you know, you're starting to have a boom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
This is going to be nightmare.
Mice can breed brother to sister, mother to son, father to daughter, and it doesn't matter.
Yep.
And then they all go out into their 10 by 30 feet area.
And it just
it
moves out.
It may take them 5 to 7 years to
Cue the banjo.
overrun your attic.
Right. And then once they've completely covered your attic,
then they start coming down the walls.
I just had a sex lesson at my age. Thanks.
And so then you're looking at a decade before they get into your living space, or before you even know you've got mice.
You've got them. Right.
So,
a lot of people don't find out they have them in their attic until they go to open a box, because they've moved and they've got a box that was in the attic, and they pack it up and then they take it to their new house, and then they go to open up the box and there's mouse poop in there, and they're, oh, it's no big deal, it's no big deal. But lo and behold, there's a mouse somewhere in one of those boxes.
And so how do you fight this problem? Well, in your living spaces, just the T-Rex traps out the wazoo. In your attic, I would go and purchase at Home Depot or Lowe's, or maybe even an Ace, but Ace always seems to be overpriced. Would go. What's the matter?
I was just gonna pull up a picture of the trap. Go ahead.
It's either Top Cat or Tomcat.
For what?
They have these little packs of mouse poison.
Tomcat.
Okay? Read it. Make sure you get the one that starts the decaying process on the inside, so you don't ever have to smell it. And what you do is cake your attic.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the 10 by 30 feet rule. Shunk, shunk,
yeah.
shunk, 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 shunk. Boom. And then just do that like once a year.
They must be good insulation. All that heat generated by all that.
Okay? That's how that's
the way you get rid of
That's the way you get rid of them.
Up in your attic.
Okay?
But like you said, make sure that it's the one that's going to make it where they don't smell, because otherwise you're going to have a nightmare.
And then I would just do it once every couple of months.
Yeah. No, that's a good point though. The secondary poisoning too. You do have to keep. That's exactly right.
That's why you're doing that in your attic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because your cat's not going to get in your attic. Your other animals are not going to get in your attic.
Kids aren't going to mess with that.
And they're going to be up underneath the insulation. They're going to go, they're going to chew on this, they're going to eat the poison, then they're going to be in the insulation. Mm-hmm. The ones that are living up in your attic are not coming down into your living space.
Right.
The ones that are coming down in your living space are the ones that are being pushed out from up there because there's too much in there. That's why you use the T-Rex traps in your living space.
That's why we never recommend using poison.
I don't recommend using poison in crawl spaces. In your house, only in the attic.
Yeah.
Because see, remember, 10 by 30 foot area. That mouse is not going to leave that area. Mm-hmm. He can get all of the moisture he needs to survive from your gutter, from the condensation
from your air conditioning,
pipes, anything that's up there.
Yeah, we've had that poison in the attic and it works great. Yep. Don't put. I would even go one further, Windswept, and say don't put bait anywhere in your living space, because you have so many different possibilities. You have a cat could get a hold of one. You've got a kid could get a hold of something.
Because they're not going to go far once they ingest this poison. Mm-mm. I mean, it's not like it's going to take them a day or two today. You're talking like 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah,
they're not going far. But I forget who actually asked that question. I think it was the
Peaceful
Inspiration. I hope that helps you out.
And if somebody could put the link to the shop, if you look in our shop, there's a category that's like trapping supplies or something like that, And the mouse traps and the rat traps are in there, and they're fairly reasonable. I mean, they're not expensive at all.
Now, if you've got a mice and rat problem on or in and around your chicken coops and stuff like that, don't get the poison. Get the T-Rex traps. And what's up, G Trapper? And build yourself almost like a weasel box, and place the T-Rex traps inside the weasel box.
Yeah.
And we made a video on about weasels and be able to make the weasel box. And they will go in there all day long. No different than the weasel or a coon going in a bucket set. The mice and the rats will go in that box. One, because they're going to feel secure because it's
completely covered on.
And that's something that a lot of folks don't know. Like when you're going to set these T-Rex traps, okay? Mice, more mice than rats, but rats too, they love to be touching something. So they're going to run against the wall.
Right.
Okay? And think about it. Think about it when you've seen a rat or a mouse. He's always hugging that wall. And he's running down the wall. It's very rare that you see him
just
hug that wall and then dart across.
Yeah.
Something stopping them, they don't feel safe, which makes them dart across. And where are they going? They're going straight next to that next wall. Okay? So when you set these traps, set them perpendicular. If this is your wall, set them perpendicular.
So
not running against the wall, perpendicular. So that way you'll catch them. If they're running, you may catch them running, not sitting there to eat the bait, but you'll catch them running. So that's also a thing.
Right.
You know, and that's why those weasel boxes for around your feed, your chicken coops and stuff like that are perfect because it stops the mice and rats, or it stops your chickens from getting into the T-Rex trap.
Right.
But it doesn't. But it encourages the mice and the rats to go in there.
Right.
Yeah.
So
well, here's another thing. A rat can tread water for 24 hours. So it'd be no problem for him to come
all those
swimming
buckets
up.
that you see, like the bucket traps, you'd have to leave him in there for more than 24 hours before he died.
Yeah. So, but we're way over our hour.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for so much for coming and hanging out with us. Don't forget to come on over to the Facebook world. Join the Big Bear Homestead group. If you want some behind the scenes stuff, the recipes, the soap of the month, go ahead and hit our website and join the Big Bear Friends membership, where you'll get all kinds of
we're doing recipes, tips, things like that on there as well.
Coupons, all kinds of stuff depending on which level that you go for.
Right.
So don't forget those things. Check them out. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Remember, be kind to one another. You don't know what that person is going through. You don't know. They could have lost a job or lost a loved one. They could have just been diagnosed with a terminal illness. They didn't mean to be mean and nasty to you. It's just they got some stuff on their mind. So be nice to one another. Repurpose, reuse, and recycle. Keep stuff out of the landfill. Give our wildlife a chance. Let's stop taking their homes away. You guys have a great evening, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.